Welcome back to Living Pacific Northwest, guys. Today we're going to be building a headboard out of a pallet and a 2x6. So I got the pallet for free, bought the 2x6, I think it was like 10 bucks. I bought some nuts, bolts, eyelets, sandpaper, screws, and some stain. All of it, including the wood right there, was 30 bucks. So it's a pretty cheap little project here. Hopefully it turns out. I'll show you my ideas. So what I'm wanting to do is have the pallet laid like this against the wall, and then have the 2x6 come on each side right here, going up. And that's what I'm going to anchor to the actual bed. I might have one going over top, I'm not sure yet. But I'll have it on both ends, going up, anchored, drilled to this pallet, and anchor the 2x6 to the bed itself. That's my goal, that's my plan. I'm going to sand all this down and stain it. Hopefully it turns out. I have an idea in my head, and sometimes they work out and turn out pretty well. Other times they don't, so we shall see. But let's get to it, guys. Alright guys, so I'm going to start by sanding the pallet down with a 180 grit sandpaper. I might move to 220 or 300 depending on how smooth it is. All I got to focus on is these edges right here, because the actual wood itself, the surface, is actually pretty smooth. So I just want to get it along the edges, get all the corners, get all the possible splinters or pieces of the wood that stick here, poke here, what have you. So let's get to it. Alright, so I went ahead and sanded this down. It is smooth. I'm not worried about any sort of splinters or anything. So originally I said I was going to do, I believe, 180 grit. Well, I got the wrong pad. So I did 60, went around the edges, cleaned those up, and then I went sanded down all the, as you can see, this is white, and then this is kind of like a yellow, tan. So I sanded all that down off the front, and then I went around and did 220 grit and got all the roughness out of it. So now it's just super smooth. So now I'm just going to cut the 2x6, take some measurements, and from here to here, I believe, maybe a little bit taller on the top, but take some measurements, cut, and I'll get back to you guys. All right, guys, so I'm going to take some measurements here. Let me put you down. Alright guys, so that pallet is 40 inches tall, which will put it right here. I think I'm going to cut the 2x6 to 50 inches, which will put it right about there. 50 inches, and then have the pallet move up 10 inches so it'll sit flush with 50. If that makes sense. So I'll go 10 inches from the bottom, so I'll have it about right here, the pallet, and then go up to here, up top. If that makes sense. That's my plan. I'm going to go ahead and go cut a 2x6 real quick and bring it in here and see how it looks. Alright guys, so I cut my 50-inch piece of wood, put it against the bed like that. So that's about how high it'll be, which I think I like. About headboard size, right? Let me pick the camera up. Got a good 1.5 feet, a little bit more. Do that on each side. That should look nice. Alright guys, so I think that's where I want it to be. I'm going to go cut another 2x6 to 50 inches. And then I'll probably bring the pallet in here and set everything up. And then we can probably get to staining it. I got to drill some holes, but we're almost done. Quick, easy. Alright guys, so this is what it's going to look like, except for the pallet is going to be flush with this right here. So imagine that's the top and this is the bottom. But this is how it's going to look like when it's on my bed. I've sanded down everything, cut everything. I'm just going to stain it now with some honey satin stain and polyethylene in one step. So that's what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to start staining it, and then that'll probably be all I'm going to do tonight. I'll let it cure until tomorrow, and then tomorrow I'll probably put it up against my bed, drill some more holes, connect the 2x6s to the actual pallet, and then hook it onto my bed. Should be easy as that, hopefully. So let's get staining. Alright guys, so I'm finally done staining the wood. It took me about 3 hours. It was terrible getting in between all these cracks and crevices. I did front and back, but I'm going to let it dry overnight and hopefully it'll be ready to work on tomorrow. So I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Alright guys, so it's the next day. The stain had a chance to dry. It's still a little bit tacky, but that'll be fine. So I'm going to take my sidings right here, my 2x6s, line them up right about there. So they're flush with this wood right here. Just like that. Alright guys, so I thought I was recording this entire time, but apparently I wasn't. Let me show you what I've been doing. So basically, I put these blocks in the corner right here. 2 screws going into the pallet, 1 screw going into the wood. I did it at all 3 corners right there to give it a little bit more strength. I'm going to do that to this side now. Hopefully I remember to push the play button, but it's actually pretty simple. I just cut those in 1/2 inch long, 1/2 inch wide, or excuse me, 1 3/4 inch, 1 3/4 length and width to fill that little space to give it a little bit more grip. I might actually put another 2x4 right here coming out and then screw it here. So screw it in from the back right here and then screw it into here. I'm not sure. That's just something I would like to do, add more strength to it. I don't know if I need to right now, but that's the plan. Let me go ahead and do the other side now. All right, so I'm gonna put this block right here. I'm going to trace the outline, drill 2 holes, then drill into this piece of wood, and then drill into this piece of wood. I'm going to set up the tripod. It's kind of a weird angle, but hopefully it works out. All right, and that's pretty much all I've been doing. So now it is completely in there. It's not gonna come out. I did it to that one. Still need to do it to the bottom, but I'm gonna let you guys skip that part since it's kind of unnecessary. I'll let you know when it is completely done. We're almost there. All right, so I got the bottom half right here. I'm gonna go ahead and mount this right here on the inside. I'm gonna drill some pilot holes for it. I want about half this 2x4 on the 2x6 and the rest on this piece of wood right here. So I'm just gonna drill right there and one right there. All right, maybe one right here. There we go. These holes don't really matter. I just getting sloppy. So I'm gonna pre-start these drills just to make life a little bit easier. There we go. I think I'm running out of juice on this drill. Go ahead and put this right here. There we go. Another one. Let me grab another nail or screw. Perfect. Now I'm going to take my little panel here, put it right there. I'm going to drill some pilot holes and do the same thing. So take this, do it here, do the next one right here. All right, get this all set up where I want it. Right about. Got that in there. There we go. And honestly, no one's gonna see the back of it, hopefully. So it doesn't have to look too pretty. There we go. Now, as you can see, there's a gap right here. I'm gonna get some wood and split some wood and put a wedge in there. All right, and the reason I have to do this is because the pallet itself is a little warped, so, or I'm just a bad builder, which is a good possibility. Oh well, anyway, so I'm taking these little pieces of wood, I'm gonna wedge them in here as best I can. That one just fell through, wonderful. I'm gonna take this piece of wood, wedge it in there, so when I drill into the wood, it'll go through that little wedge and it'll kind of flatten it a little bit and fill that space. All right, so I got the wedges in there. I'm gonna go ahead and drill through them now. In theory, it should all work. Oh, as I tip over the whole thing. All right, so I believe I am now done. There's a slight crack right there, but that's okay, because the other one has it too. And the top is pretty flush. Pretty flush. Pretty happy with it. I'm gonna let it dry a little bit longer because I did, if you guys didn't notice, I don't think I told you, I did stain these again and I stained these. So I'm gonna let that dry just a little bit longer. I'm gonna go take some measurements. There's one last thing I gotta do, and that's drill the bottom. Gotta put 2 holes in there. Probably one around here and probably one around there on both sides to match my bed frame, and then I'm hooking it up. As easy as that. I'm only kind of worried, only a little bit, teeny weeny bit, that might not be strong enough to support this whole thing, but it should. If not, I will just weld an extra bracket somewhere up there on the metal frame going up. So I will see you guys in a few minutes. All right guys, so I made my marks. And I'm gonna drill into there on both sides, and then I'm gonna go mount it. The lighting wasn't very good and it was a very cramped area, so I didn't bring you guys along, but pretty self-explanatory. I brought this into my room, put it next to the bed frame, marked where it needs to go. Now I brought it back out here to drill into it. I messed up. Dang it. Alright, that's it. Alright guys, I know it's really hard to see, but I got the bolt in. I'm going to put the other one in real quick. And I'm just feeding them through these. You can't see it. There's holes right here. I'm just screwing them in. I'm doing the bolt in like this, and then I'm putting a washer and then a nut at the end. So it's pretty much exactly like this. Yeah, you know the idea. Alright, there we go. Put the washer in behind it. Oops. Okay guys, so here is a close-up on the bolts. Got one on top right there, and I got one on the bottom right there. So I got that secure. It's on both sides now. Got some washers, and I think I'm going to do another brace. Let me get back here a little bit. So I think I'm going to do the brace from here to here, just a thin piece of metal. Go in there so this won't wobble. It wobbles a little bit. Let me show you. I figured it'd wobble a little bit, but it's not terrible. Not terrible. I can deal with it. So I'm going to make a brace there. Hopefully that'll keep the top end sturdy. But aside from that, I'm pretty much done. I like the way it looks. I wish it was a little bit taller, but what can you do? I'm happy with the way it turned out. It took about 4 trips to Home Depot because I kept buying the wrong screws and wrong bolts. That is entirely my fault. But it does turn out pretty nice. Alright guys, and that's it for today. If you liked the video, leave a like and a comment down below, and I'll see you guys next time.